The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is one of the oldest Upanishads, dating back to around 700 BCE. It's part of the Yajur Veda, and it's fascinating how these ancient teachings still resonate with us today. This text dives deep into the nature of reality, the self, and the universe. It's like a cosmic conversation that invites us to explore our existence and our place in the grand tapestry of life. At its core, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad grapples with the concept of Brahman and Atman. Brahman is the ultimate reality, the all-encompassing source of everything, while Atman refers to the individual self or soul. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Upanishad teaches that Atman is not separate from Brahman. In fact, it boldly declares Tat Tvam Asi, which translates to that thou art. This profound statement encapsulates the idea that you and I, at our essence, are not distinct from the universe. We are interconnected threads in this vast cosmic web. The Upanishad invites us to embrace that feeling, to recognize that we are not isolated beings wandering through life. Instead, we are expressions of the same ultimate reality that binds us all. It's a humbling and empowering realization, don't you think? The text also delves into the nature of knowledge and ignorance. It speaks of two types of knowledge, the knowledge that is transient and the knowledge that is eternal. The transient knowledge is the kind we acquire through our senses, the information we gather from the world around us. It's important, of course, but it's also fleeting. On the other hand, eternal knowledge is the understanding of our true nature and the nature of reality itself. It's a deeper, more profound insight that transcends the limitations of our physical existence. This distinction resonates with many of us today, doesn't it? In our fast-paced world, we're bombarded with information every second. Social media, news, endless streams of data. It can feel overwhelming. And yet, amidst all this noise, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad reminds us to seek the deeper truths. It encourages us to step back from the chaos and engage in self-inquiry, to ask ourselves who we truly are beyond the roles we play and the identities we adopt.
One of the most striking dialogues in the Upanishad occurs between a teacher and a student, where the student is seeking to understand the nature of life and death. The teacher explains that just as we shed old clothes and put on new ones, our souls transition from one body to another. This metaphor of clothing is powerful. It illustrates the impermanence of our physical forms while emphasizing the continuity of our essence. It's a reminder that life is a cycle and death is not an end but a transformation. Now, let's bring this back to our modern lives. How often do we find ourselves caught up in the fear of death? It's a universal concern, yet the Upanishad invites us to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing death as something to dread, we can see it as a part of the natural flow of existence. This doesn't mean we shouldn't grieve or feel loss, but rather we can find solace in the understanding that our essence continues beyond this life. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? And then there's the concept of dharma, our duty or righteousness. The Upanishad emphasizes that living in accordance with our true nature and acting with integrity is essential for spiritual growth. It's about aligning our actions with our deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. In a world that often pressures us to conform or chase superficial goals, this teaching is a gentle nudge to reflect on what truly matters. What is your purpose? What values guide your life? These are the questions that the Upanishad encourages us to explore. As we navigate our daily lives, we might find ourselves overwhelmed by expectations societal, familial, personal. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad challenges us to rise above these external pressures and connect with our authentic selves. It's an invitation to cultivate self-awareness and engage in practices that nourish our spirit, whether through meditation, contemplation, or simply spending time in nature. In this journey of self-discovery, we might encounter moments of doubt, confusion, or even despair. But the Upanishad reassures us that these experiences are part of the process. It teaches us that the path to enlightenment is not linear, it's filled with twists and turns. Embracing the journey with all its ups and downs is essential. Remember, even the wisest sages were once seekers. So, as we reflect on the teachings of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, let's carry its wisdom into our lives. Let's strive to recognize the interconnectedness of all beings, to seek eternal knowledge amidst the noise, to embrace the cycles of life and death, and to live with purpose and integrity. This ancient text is not just a relic of the past. It's a living guide that can illuminate our path in this ever-evolving journey of existence. And perhaps, just perhaps, we'll find that the answers we seek have been within us all along, waiting to be uncovered in the quiet moments of reflection and awareness.